always felt like I didn't belong. Like I didn't know how to relate to other people. I didn't know, I thought I was strange. And so I didn't have a best friend. The friends that I would have, I was always the third wheel. And it was very hard because I felt like nobody could understand me. Early in my life, I experienced some betrayal, and this part of my life would form the rest of my life. I learned early to protect myself. I would bend over backwards, do whatever anybody wanted me to do. I would actually change into the person that I needed to be according to who I was around. As I was going through school, I had a hard time concentrating. I had a hard time paying attention. And so I didn't do well in school. I just wanted to be accepted. I just wanted to be loved and accepted. And, as a child, I was heavy, and I was made fun of. And so my life would consist of getting up, trying to predict what kind of abuse, of mental abuse that I was going to receive so that I could have a plan of how I was going to react to it. I didn't know Jesus. We went to a country church, and there I would be there most of my life, but I was never asked for Jesus to come into my heart. There was not people on the altar, and so I didn't know Jesus. And I had virtually this feeling of no control. And so when I found out that I could control my weight, that's what I did. And I became anorexic. All of a sudden, I became in an inner group of people that I was never accepted by before. And so then that would fuel me to keep going. And before long, I found myself anemic. When I was about 28, we went to a church nearby our community. There was a preacher there. He was full of the Holy Spirit. He would preach, not from a sermon, but whatever God was laying on his heart would come out of his mouth. I was so drawn to this. And so after a while, I went to the altar. I asked Jesus into my heart. I was trying to get a get out of jail free card at that point, because I was afraid not to. But I kept pursuing Jesus. And so we fast forward my life and my experiences, and I turned 45. I just started to really long for him. I had no idea the depth of the love that Jesus provides and the depth that you can have this relationship with him. And so I said, Lord, I want all of you. I want everything you have. I want every gift. I want everything. I want it all. I want to feel your presence. After a while of me really talking to him and really going to him about this, I felt this heat come from my feet all the way to the top of my head. And at that point in time, Jesus had baptized me in the Holy Spirit. And after this point in time, I started to have flashbacks. I started to have these flashbacks of being sexually abused. And at first, I was terrified, and I was so afraid. But I also knew when I saw this, my whole life started to make sense. Being diagnosed bipolar, being diagnosed OCD and ADD, and all these mental illnesses, and all of these labels, and all of these different identities started to make sense. That was the root of all of these things. All of these things that I had experienced in my life were connected, the dysfunction, to this root of sexual abuse. And I completely shattered into all these different pieces. And I felt like the Lord was holding me in his arms in heaven and was comforting me although I was devastated, and as I started to continue to walk with Jesus through the healing, and so through all of this healing, deep inner healing, God has shown me his intense love, the love that nothing can ever take the place of. At some point in time, it's about 3 years ago, we had a friend that was doing a testimony over here. And as I went to see this, I walked in the door and I didn't even have any idea what I was walking into. But the people here, they were so loving. They were so caring. When I walked in, everybody was saying hello to me. They'd never seen me before. And after that night, we have not ever stopped coming. Like, we have been coming ever since. And through all of the pain and through all of the heartache and the distress of going through this healing for this sexual abuse, I would walk in, and sometimes I didn't even know how I got here. I didn't even know how I made it into the door. But I would get there and I would sit down, and God would speak to me through the sermons. He would speak to me just by the people that would come and love on me and hug on me. And I would come to the altar. I was so broken, and I would just cry. And I would say, Lord, I just need to feel you, and I just wanted somebody to come. And so the people here would come and they would pray for me, and I would feel Jesus. I desperately want to see people get healed, for them to get help. And I would tell them about Temple City Church. I would tell them about recovery, that there is hope, that God is a healer, and he wants to heal mental illness. He wants to heal all the hurts and the pains, and that he loves you. He wants to heal you, and he wants to use you to heal other people. And don't be afraid, because he is with you, and you will learn so much about Jesus in this church that it will change your life forever.